Hello everyone, welcome back to One of Deku Was the Screaming Death. Yeah. We left off at Deku practically living in UA now. Or having his dorms built. So while his dorms are being built, he would kind of, just have them roam around, I guess, but he would have to be watched at all times due to easily reasonings. So yes, he would have to be watched, but he would be able to, roam around. Not in, in the flippin' city, but, just either in the sky being watched or just in the ground messing around or something. So he would practically just relax, and I'll say a week would have passed. Ray does visit him time to time. Endeavor tried to visit, but that was an instant shutdown due to Deku. Let's just say they had to have. It was complicated. Let's say while, Endeavor wanted to know where Ray was. Being the number 2 hero he is, and being a complete douchebag, and being all controlling and whatnot, he would want to know where Ray is due to her not being in the mental hospital. And, trying to complain that she should stay in the mental hospital, but I mean, Ray will I'll say both of them will be on Deku Beach with, a couple guards to make sure Deku don't do anything stupid. Or, try to kill or eat anyone. Yeah. There's also a truck there to, have Deku in, to, transport Deku, because, they can't just, people are gonna get scared if they just see this monstrous thing just flying in the sky, so yeah. He understands, English, he just doesn't care what you say. That's practically, Deku right now. And over time, Deku would become more calmer. And due to him not really, not having a family, but at the same time not having anything to worry about, he would start calming down extremely. Because I'll say Ray's technically, his therapist / mother at this point. And so I guess Deku eventually, he wouldn't get a human form, but he would be able to, it'd be weird. It would be like a snake thing. Yes, he would have the dragon's body, but he would have, should I have it like that? No. I'll keep it like that. Until I find some type of mathematical way to actually change him. Without having plot armor on. So anyways, they're just chilling on Deku Beach, and practically Endeavor rolls up and hey yo, you're supposed to be at the flippin' mental hospital. Deku, he's sleeping. He tried to sleep. Cause he is very lazy. Due to, the only time he's not lazy is when, he's territorial. But I mean, he's not on his territory, so he can't really be angry on that. Because he's not on his territory. Nor is he, he doesn't have anything to be aggravated against. So he's kind of, he kind of chill right now. So yeah, he low-key chill right now. As Endeavor's hey, we gotta bring you back to the mental hospital. Deku wakes up, he's Like, let's say he was like in the sand, so NG or Endeavor wasn't able to see him. Like, his entire body was under the sand, you know. Let's say his head was the only thing popping out of the sand, which Endeavor thought was just, you know, a spiky rock. Which he could have looked twice, but nah, this man wanna he on that flipping, hey yo, you hurt my child, even though it was my fault type of thing. So yeah. So Deku wakes up. Slumber. As you know, he kind of, you know, brings out that kind of Yaoja like noise. As you know, Ray looks like, hey, don't worry, it's just him. You don't have to be angry. You know, they're calm because Ray does know that NG can't do shit. Because if they do, you know, first they have the flippin' authorities. Second, they have flippin' Deku, which will just tear up Endeavor. Like, if you think this man's bulletproof, what do you think fire's gonna do with him? Like, this man can go through concrete, steel, iron, anything that is flippin' material based as a cave. He can go through all of that. What do you think a little fire's gonna do? Even Hellfire, like, bruh. He's like a Nomu, but like albino Nomu practically. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you can't do nothing. Like, the only way you're gonna actually damage him is if you go him from the inside, and trust me, by the time you're inside his mouth, you're already dead, so look at these teeth though. you gonna tell me you're gonna like try to shoot something in his flipping mouth while you gotta actually get close to him? This man literally is probably faster than any of you. And not just that, but flippin' can catch you off guard just by flippin' using his machine gun like breath. Like, bro, this dude was like machine gun fireball. Like, bro, you really trying to like catch this L for real. So, you know, some authorities start showing up and try to guide Endeavor as, you know, Endeavor applies, like, he complies, so, you know, they don't arrest, they don't arrest Endeavor, but, you know, they do warn him that he has to let them know first before, you know, he comes visit. As you know, Nezu's in, you know, a little car. He's in a car. Nezu's in a car with, like, Aizawa and All Might. Let's say Nezu is smart, so he's trying to kind of introduce him to, like, you know, the top people in, you know, UA. So, you know, he's trying to introduce them to, you know, All Might and, you know, Aizawa. Because they never really had an informal introduction. They kind of just captured him and he kind of just vanished from there, I guess. So, yeah. I guess a true introduction. I'm here. What am I here for, Nezu? Well, I'm here for you to meet someone that is kind of like me in a sense, but very aggressive. He puts Endeavor's aggressiveness to shame, you'd say. He's very angry. But he has his reasons, though. His rage does activate his Quirk, you can say. So, Ray, is he here by any chance? As you know, Ray kind of taps on his head. He's right here, just sleeping. I don't know. He kind of wakes up as, you know, the sand starts to move, or the ground itself starts to move. As you know, they gotta get out the way. As you know, it's the full size of Deku, the 50 flippin' feet Deku. He just looks at him. Deku just looks at him. In kind of a way where it's like, what you want? I'm trying to sleep here. What you want?
Oh, well, hello, Deku. Hello, Izuku, how are you? It's been a while, sorry, I've been very busy.
As you know, All Might was taken back by this. Is like, wait, that's this student we're having in UA? Would he even fit?
Oh, he's not gonna be in the direct courses of UA, though. He's not gonna be directly in class. He's gonna... When he calms down, they did find out that his quirk, or what they think is a quirk, is powered by anger. So as long as Ray's with him, he should calm down. We just can't get him too mad or he'll transform. So we applied him for music, for him to listen to music to calm him down.
As you know, Aizawa was like, oh, so that's what this kid was. It wasn't that like, what, 7 years ago when I found this kid? Oh, no, not 7 years ago. I believe it was like somewhere near that. Like 6 years ago. I believe I helped capture this kid.
Yes, that is true, Aizawa. He was very unstable at that moment. He had a quirk malfunction, as you will.
Oh, what they think is a quirk malfunction. Due to reasons, he's gonna be more of a mutant than a quirk person. Because let's say, for purposes, Hisashi's ability with fire was a dragon-based ability, but it was cloned. The ability was cloned for a mutation, more like it, or more of a kind of not a quirk, but kind of a. It kind of skipped a generation with Hisashi. It kind of skipped the generation with him. That's why he didn't, he didn't get the full-on dragon form. He only got the fire breath. He got the dragon, or at least the fire part from that, and then he got the rapid fire, rapidly firing from Inko due to somewhat of a pyrokinesis. So yeah, kind of like a clone of the quirks, but not a quirk, if you will. So all of it's kind of like experimentation-ish. What I mean by clone, it's kind of like how they had, what was it? They kind of cloned Venom, I believe, in one of the comics, but it was still Venom, but not, if you know what I mean. It technically was him, but not. I believe they actually cloned Venom a couple times, but anyways. That's none of my concern. That's none of the concern. Anyway, let's continue on. I guess you can say he is somewhat one with the quirk, you can say. So yeah, anyways. Hey. By the way, he isn't allowed to, use his fire breath for multiple reasons. Because, he's also not allowed to dig anywhere unless he's supervised. Due to also multiple reasons. Because when he digs down, he makes an earthquake every time he digs down somewhere. Like a mini earthquake. So, yeah. He is pretty big, so yeah. Also, he does have his wings by now. I believe his wings were... I believe it was... The Screaming Death wings are a wingspan of 10 feet, I believe. Small wings, yes. But very fast. Extremely fast. I'll say he's a bit faster than Hawks, you would say. Like, he's a decently faster than Hawks. Let's see, his speed can be matched by... You know what? His speed can be matched up to a jet. That's how fast he goes. Where the flipping calling? I'm not even gonna look. It's on the charger. I need to charge. Where is this now? Ah, come on! I'm in a video. Can't never get some breaks. Anyways, sorry for that. A little outrage happened, but anyways, let's continue. I'm just a little annoyed. Anyways, back to what I was doing. Yeah, NG's guided off the premises. As kind of, you know, they're introducing him to All Might, because, I mean, more of All Might due to All Might. All Might's not able to hurt him, but he's able to kind of hold him down. Because I used to no blades nor, you know, punches can hurt Deku, but, you know, he can be held down. He is extremely strong, but he still is able to, you know, he still, you know, defines the physics, laws of physics. So, yeah. He can still be held down, like, by, like, maybe even temporarily. If it's temporarily, he can still be held down by somebody strong, like... Let's say if there's somebody trying to, you know, imprison him or like, just make him unable to move, like a Pokemon. They just gotta have, like, you know, not just All Might, but they have to have, like, Ryoko there. Because I'll say eventually they did get Reiko, or Ryoko, wherever you prefer, the Dragon Hero. Due to Reiko also being or having a dragon like Quirk, which would allow Deku and Reiko to get along, but Deku sees more Reiko as a sort of friend or teacher to a certain extent. Like a friend-teacher sort of sense. And, you know, it's just like that, so yeah. So this arc would be like more of a transporting arc, I guess. So yeah. Anyways, Reiko teaches Deku how to control his, you know, abilities to make sure he doesn't accidentally hurt people by, you know, swinging his tail, releasing the spikes and whatnot. Because he can shoot spikes. Because, I mean, that's technically a mutation, so I mean, yeah. He's like, he can use his abilities just like, you know, the Screaming Death can. Spikes, machine gun, mouth fire. Yeah, he got all that. He is able to do a lot of stuff too, but it's very hard to, how would you say, trap him over his will. Like, unless you're able to cover his entire body in ice into like an ice cube, or just kind of trap him in general, or make him unconscious, is very hard. Due to his just massive size and, you know, powers. Like, abilities and powers. Eventually, Deku does kind of... He kind of does accept his past instead of denying his past. So he slowly does surely kind of... He doesn't shrink, but he kind of... In some type of amalgamation, kind of just transforms into human, I guess. But he's only able to transform into human in a certain amount of time, though. Because he is, like, you know, daily aggressive, so yeah. So he's kind of like Hulk, how he's always angry. So he does, like, have a limited time on his human form. Like, here and there. The best he can do is at least a complete day.
That's the most amount he can stay human for. He's naturally aggressive, so yeah. And eventually, I feel like All For One would know this by now. He'll just be in the shadows about it. He wouldn't, like, do anything until, you know, the Hero Society tries to, you know, control Deku. Or kind of have Deku into the Hero Society. What he sees, well, Deku would be that type of hero, kind of like Sans. He wouldn't do anything until, you know, it's his, you know, they're up to him, like everyone's down, and, you know, it's only up to him. So he's kind of like that. He's like he's the ace in the hole, like the last boss. He's like the boss fight. Everyone else is just like the pawns. Well, he's like the boss fight. So yeah. Which the only other person I can see competing with him will be Gigantic Machia, Ryoko, and just a couple other people in general. Like I'll say Best Genius due to his ability to. With his, yeah, just his Quirk in general. Because he can probably just, not freeze, but, what was the word? What was it called? Kind of make them unable to move. Kind of just make people unable to move due to his Quirk. So you would kind of, you know, just... His Quirk would be able to make sure Deku doesn't move. How? I mean, if Best Genius is able to hold Gigantic Machia, I mean, I don't see why he can't do the same to Deku. I don't know the size difference between him and Gigantic Machia, because I am using the actual information from, you know, the real Screaming Death, so... I don't know how tall Gigantic Machia is, but I'll say they're about the same height. Maybe. I don't know if Deku's either bigger or smaller than him. But I guess there'll be a good match with Reiko, Best Genius, who else? People who in general can just make sure that they can clap back practically. And I said I didn't move. I didn't say move for long. Because, I mean, he does have the spikes, but he will have to, you know, move to actually fling the spikes. And you also gotta hold his mouth shut, because, I mean, the fire is still a thing, so yeah. So I guess they have to be, like, in teams of 3, I guess. 1, to make sure he's, incapable of movement. 2nd, hold his mouth shut. And 3rd, make sure he don't scream, practically, which is practically the same thing as keeping his mouth shut. And 3rd, somebody actually having to hold this man down or just make sure this man is unconscious just to flip and transport him somewhere. I guess that'd be Reiko's ability. She'll be able to, like, compete with him. Yes, not as much abilities, but, I mean, Dragon, so yeah. So, yeah, that'd be, like, the basis of how to, like, incapacitate. That's the word, incapacitate him. Yeah. I just couldn't remember the word for some reason. Anyways, All For One, back to All For One. All For One will be watching this. He will see this as a threat. So he would kind of make a type of, he would try to, you know, get Gigantic Machia earlier than, you know, as planned in the anime and whatnot. So now when Mina has the interaction with Gigantic Machia, they kind of, like a week later, or like, you know, when All For One sees fit, he kind of breaks Gigantic Machia out of Tartarus. And I would say that, to a certain extent, I guess Chisaki Kichisaki or Overhaul would be able to do something to him. Because, I mean, it's kind of like matter deconstruction, reconstruction. So, yeah, I mean, he can just tear apart Deku, but due to Deku's overwhelming size, it would take a while for, his entire body to, deconstruct. Due to him being just way much bigger than a normal human. So, yeah. So, besides Kichisaki, I'll say... Oh, by the way, the Quirk bullets wouldn't work on him, if you're wondering. I mean, I guess in this sense they wouldn't work on him, but they'll be like the dragon version of kind of, what was it called? Tranquilizers to Deku. May not affect his outsides, but like if it hits him in the eye, or someplace soft, like his mouth or tongue or something, just something that's soft, because I mean there's not a lot of things soft about flipping a Screaming Death, so yeah. I guess either the mouth, eyes, or just, yeah, that's about all. I don't see any other place that can actually put that. So I'll say Gigantic Mach, no, not Gigantic Mach. The Quirk Arresting Bullets are like a tranquilizer for Deku, besides that. Who else would be able to? I'll say... I guess lightning would work on him. So, lightning... But if it it only happens if his his entire body's underwater, and then gets shot by lightning. That only works to a certain extent. 9 would also be able to attack him without having struggle. I guess some type of struggle. Like a decent amount of people would able to attack Deku, but only a certain amount of them will actually be effective. Cause the only way I see lightning or like any type of Quirk in general is if his entire body's in water and you shock him by using like a thunder Quirk or something, lightning Quirk, which would do damage due to his his eyes, mouth, the skin that's exposed to his face that are inside the water would get shocked, so that would have it. But I mean, he can just close his eyes, but I mean, I guess his mouth would technically still be exposed. What else? Fire Quirk's no use. I guess Todoroki would be able to do some damage to him. Or not like true damage, but kind of incapacitate him by using that giant, just that giant wave of ice to kind of trap or incapacitate Deku into a giant ice cube, I guess. So yeah, there's like a decent amount of people who can actually compete with Deku. It's just that they're not going to be on his... Or at least until they see him as a threat. Which... He's still pretty smart. He's smart. He just don't really care about other people. Because, I mean... You saw what he does. He's actually aggressive. So he will kind of push people away. Besides Ray. Because he kind of sensed Ray's sadness, so he kind of like bonded over that. Family issues. So yeah. So anyways, besides that, over a week, I guess, and his dorms will be done, but his dorms will more on the lines be in his, I guess, UA's basement, like right under the dorms, or not right under the dorms, because I'll say he is pretty loud to a certain extent. So I'll say just under the basement of UA, or I guess he would live in the. I guess he would either live in the
Nah, that wouldn't make sense. Yeah, I see. I feel like he would be living under UA, I guess. Just randomly living under UA. Not in a basement or anything, because, I mean, he digs down, so, I mean, he kind of just randomly lives under UA. Not sure where, but he just does. So when you call him, he's kind of always around. So, yeah. Technically always around, but, yeah. So, yeah. So, anyways, this is where I'm going to hit the entrance exam. Because, I mean, he kind of, low-key was kind of only boring tunnels. He was kind of making tunnels under UA to kind of live through. And also, you know, burying tunnels all over the UA. Making sure he knows where to go, you know, what places to go, and, you know, probably anywhere. So I'll say, like, not every classroom has a giant hole, but I'll say he does, like, go in his human form once in a while, but I mean, that's only a 24 hours thing, so he doesn't really use it that often. He doesn't like using it, because he likes, you know, staying in his dragon form. He hasn't really been training his, you know, human form that much, so yeah, he kind of stays in dragon form. So after a couple months, I guess that would be what would happen in the 10 months, just burying or borrowing holes into UA. So he kind of like it has his own not mining system, but just in general, kind of like a showering gun. Not a showering gun, but kind of it's everywhere. Holes are everywhere. That's all you gotta know. He got hole for everything. If you want to go to class, bam, hole. And it's not visible either. It's not visible. Like he does like at least a good yard before he hits the actual, you know, under the actual classroom. So, you know, if he has to, he will, you know, dig there. So he kind of just knows where everything is. So yeah. So at the 10 months, what would happen is that Deku, he would try to, you know, train his human form to be in class, but entrance exam be like, We all know how this is gonna end. Screaming death. Noise, or, you know, screech wouldn't work on the robots. So I guess no, the fire, because I'm pretty sure they're fireproof. So I'll say the only thing that can actually harm the robots is either by smashing into them by using his own body, or just flinging the spikes he has on his body as a projectile towards the robots and just destroying them. Or just pure out eating them. Because, I mean, he is pretty big. And he's just relaxing. So he's just relaxing, like, on top of a building, just flying in the air during the entrance exam. People do see this, but they kind of just see it as, you know, it's probably just some type of starting thing or something. Or, like, helper for, you know, the extra exam if anything goes wrong. Which, technically, yes, but no. So he's just flying, just doing whatever. As, you know, Nezu's like, can you please sit down? As you know, let's say he does have, like, some type of collar on to kind of, like a speaker collar so you can actually hear him. As you know, he starts going to the ground. And turning human. Practically. And people do see this, but they don't question him. Not even Ida, because I mean,
If you've seen this turn into a human, would you really want to mess with him? I mean, unless you want a death sentence. Haha, pun. So yeah. President Mike would say go. Deku would zoom through the flippin' exam like nothing. Just using his own body and, you know, just spikes just to decimate robots here and there. Zoom. As you know, everyone just hears his screech, I guess. He does, you know, he does lower the volume of the screech, so, you know, he kind of just does that by instinct. Kind of just screeches every time he attacks. Or while he's attacking, so yeah, kind of just a habit he has. So after a good decent amount of while, I'll say Deku would round up a decent amount of points. Cause I'll say he does like, you know, to hunt games. So I say, I mean, they have him hunt like dummies and whatnot, but they don't actually allow him to hunt actual animals, cause, you know, we all know what's gonna happen to that poor animal. So yeah. So he kind of just goes to the bigger robots, which would be the 3-pointers, kind of just decimating them. Also getting some hero points, and I guess, yeah, just hero points. Because he would see no reason getting any other type of points besides hero points and, you know, normal points. Because, I mean, villain points, I mean, depending if you count saving a person's life using a spike as a villain point, so yeah. I'm pretty sure villain points are when you steal others' points, practically, so. He does a lot of things until, you know, Nezu's like, this will be interesting. As, no, he has a button that says 3 on it. Or, sorry, no, 0 on it. He has a button that says 0 on it, as you know. He presses down on the button, releasing 3 separate 0-pointers. But they're big, yes, but they're kind of in a fashioned line, or like they're right behind each other, just due to how big they are. So Deku's like, and they're each in different areas, by the way. So yeah. So. Once you find these things, got you. As he just zooms, burrowing through one 0-pointer. Just making holes in one of the 0-pointers, just digging through everything, just biting, chewing, tearing, ripping everything apart of the 0-pointers. And, you know, he goes to the second 0-pointer, which he kind of just uses his spikes to, I guess, pin the 0-pointers to the ground. And after that, kind of fatality rips off the 0-pointer's head. And for the third 0-pointer, he kind of just uses his fireball, or, you know, his fire breath to kind of slow down the 0-pointer. And after that, kind of make it fall back. And then, you know, practically explode on, you know, rubble from behind. So yeah. Or like just he'll have traps, by the way. He would you know, shoot behind the 0-pointer to make spikes. So when when the 0-pointer fell, you'll kind of be impaled by like the spikes Deku would make. So yeah. And that would be the end of the entrance exam, practically. He would kind of low-key just sit around and just wait for something cool to happen. Somewhat like Shikamaru, like he wouldn't put any effort unless he has to, and I mean, 3 0-pointers are pretty, you know, he had to do that. So yeah.
But I'll say the 0 pointers weren't as big though. They weren't as big as the Canon 0 pointers. They were kind of like evenly like a good 20 feet, 30 feet, decent, pretty big, but still decently averaged small, I guess. Like 20 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet, just a decent amount, just to have Deku enjoy himself, actually do something besides, thinking everything is a boring thing. So yeah, just having everything boring done. Then we'll go to off one, and overhaul. Everyone else practically that can mess with Deku. So practically first, all for one. All for one is practically having more like in the way of giving Gigantic Maki more quirks to compete with, Deku, I guess. Just in case, Deku gotta go hand to hand. And the overhaul would try to analyze how to stop this Quirk. I guess he'll try to, he'll work a little bit harder on Eri, kind of torturing her more to, get, a better Quirk erasing bullets, or, try to complete the Quirk erasing bullets faster. Which he does, he gets them in he makes them a month before, the original, overhaul arc. It's just they haven't been tested, and they're kind of, prototypes. So they're still they're working on it, but, they got the prototypes, which the prototypes kind of erase the Quirk for an entire day. Not forever, but entire day, though. Which kind of reverses their quirks to the point of, childhood. Which a lot of children didn't have the quirks, so it will kind of reverse their quirks back to as a child until, the effects run out. It grows back into what it is. So, yeah. And with I'll say Stain wouldn't really care, because he wouldn't really be able to do anything. Stain's mind will kind of be like, okay, stay away from it, and I should be good. Got it. As I believe the army, the Infederation Army, I believe it was called, will see this as a threat. Same with the Yakuza. A person like this shouldn't have that amount of power. So they kind of, work double time on the Quirk erasing bullets. Which, UA, they're still on the border of kind of, we want, this, if you can even call it a person, to become a hero. Are we sure we're not gonna make a wrong mistake? What would happen if he turns into a villain? There's no second thoughts and whatnot, but Nezu would kind of not improvise, but kind of practically, what was the word? Convince them to let Deku in the school, or allow him into the the Hero Society. So yeah, which technically, like Shigaraki's story, technically was because of heroes doing nothing, because his father's been abusive his entire life, but yet not one. Like, heroes were all around where Deku lived as a child, but yet not one of them did anything to help him out with his abusive father. So, yeah. And And that is where I will end off this video. Why? Because I haven't slept in a week. And I need sleep. Also, I gotta think of what if Deku was flipping. Joker became the Joker, so yeah. After I take a nap, I'll probably upload what if Deku became the Joker. I have a lot of things to plan for that. So yeah. Anyways, remember, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and leave a like in the video. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.